People here engaged in the discussions very much because they are engaged in the question. Local economic development, local economy is something that is seen as some kind of response to global problems, global crises in many different aspects, both the ecological crisis, the climate crisis, the social crisis we have, and not least, of course, the financial crisis. And people here at the conference seem to believe that understanding better the local economy and possibilities to find tools for developing the local economy would take us a long step towards the transition that we're all waiting for.
I am a historian as a background, and I see that everything moves in circles. So we go from local to multinational and global, and then we need to go back to local again. Everything moves in circles. So I'm seeing it as a natural movement. But the real reason we need that, because everything has grown to such a big scale now that we cannot control our own way of life or our own economical condition. It's totally unreasonable that our markets, our local markets, and our local economy should be ruled by multinational companies in other countries. It's absurd. So we need to change that.
In the living local economies that people around the world are now organizing to bring into being, life is sacred. Earth is sacred. Money is just a number in a system of accounts. It is useful, but it is hardly sacred.
And above all now, as we talk about global warming, should we not be talking about this insanity of importing and exporting the same products? Remember that if tomorrow people would sit down and eat food from their own region all around the world, no multinational company would make money, but millions of farmers and smaller businesses would.
We need to do more and more of the basic locally, and we don't need to ban trade. We can still buy and sell things globally, but not the basic for survival.
I see that Nordic countries are very advanced in research and also in applying the different instruments of local economies. It would be good if Nordic countries would disseminate the knowledge and experience worldwide.
To build from the bottom, build a capital base by volunteer work, by collecting funds in small rural cooperatives, and then building up from that. And by combining those efforts, we can build stronger firms that can also sell nationally and globally.
Ensure that the basic structures for rural development is there. Just service, schools, broadband, all these things that people in the city just count on. We think that rural people should be able to count on this as well.
But I think often it's as well maybe more a problem that all cultural and intellectual capital is taken out of the local society. And it means when you go to school today, if you are a cultural person or an intellectual person, well, then you go to the city and educate in there, and you stay there. And it means out in countryside, you have all the people with the hands, and it's good, but it's so dull. We need people who make music, who make theater, who make crazy things.
We're spreading the knowledge and educating people in process facilitating of a method called Landsbygd 2.0, and it's a tool to involve young people in the planning of the local community. When we do this method, a lot of ideas come up, and most of these ideas need some sort of finance. And I'm here to gather good examples on how can we finance these ideas that come up.
Anybody with an idea that could benefit the local community could be funded on the spot through the crowdfunding platform with the blessings of Inlandsinnovation.
I care a lot about local economy, local people. I live on the countryside, and I know how important it is to be able to have your own life in your own hands. So I want to tell people what we have and how they can use it to be able to do just that, take control over their own lives.
Think about the ecological sphere first. Where's the limits and what possibilities do we have? What things do I have here which I can do something with? Start opening our eyes for the local area around us, and also start looking for the social possibilities that are there. And financial tools is for me how to socially cooperate. And when we find the ways of cooperate, we will have economy. Economy is the result.
The open space technology is a technology to create really good meetings. Here people are asked to suggest their own issues. What is the issue that you want to talk more about? And then people team up around issues.
We were talking about financial instruments, from the time banks to the local banks, green economies, local communities, local cooperatives. I was surprised how many instruments are taking place already around the world.
People mentioned some financial tools for the local economy that I didn't know of before, so after the conference I will look into what that is and see how we can work with that in the future.
The World Café, we were talking about why we should strengthen local economies. There came up a lot of good arguments for that, which has to do with the resilience and quality of life and meaning. Local economy is not only about money, it's about life.